Have you ever looked at something, maybe an investment, or even just a situation that seemed perfect, like really shiny on the outside?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Too good to be true, maybe.
Exactly. And then you find out there's something, well, darker lurking underneath.
It's a classic scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
Appearances can be so deceptive, especially when someone wants to hide something.
Absolutely. And that's what we're diving into today, the world of dirty money.
Money from crime, corruption, fraud, stuff like that.
Right. Funds that are made to look clean through a process called money laundering. And countering that is anti-money laundering, or AML.
It can sound really technical, all regulations and jargon.
Yeah, but we've got a great way to unpack it today. A surprising analogy that should make it all much clearer for you.
Makes it sick, you know.
Definitely. Our source for this deep dive is a really thought-provoking blog post. It's called Snow White and the Poisoned Apple of Money Laundering, a fairy tale of anti-money laundering.
Right, it's from the firm Alexander Christian. And they use that fairy tale, Snow White, to explain financial compliance. It's quite clever, actually.
It really is. So our mission today, give you a shortcut to understanding AML basics.
Help you see how to spot those red flags and why the safeguards are so important.
We're aiming for some practical insights, maybe a few aha moments along the way.
Should be good. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start with that apple, the poisoned apple.
We all know the story. Beautiful apple, looks perfect, but toxic inside.
And that's the core analogy for dirty money, isn't it? Illicit funds dressed up to look totally legit.
It's like the dark magic of finance sometimes. And just like Snow White was tempted,
Yeah.
well, law firms, banks, financial professionals, they can be tempted too. Sometimes they know, sometimes they really don't. By clients or deals that look pristine.
Appearances again.
Exactly. But underneath, it's tainted.
And the blog post puts it so well. What looks clean at first glance might carry risk beneath its glossy surface.
Sounds obvious, maybe. But it's so easy to forget in the rush.
You have to actively look past the shine, right? Train yourself.
Yeah, you do. And you know what often provides that glossy surface in reality?
What kind of thing?
Well, things like really complex company structures. Shell companies where you can't easily see who owns them.
Yeah.
Or transactions bouncing between different countries for no obvious reason.
Okay, so legally it might look fine on paper.
Exactly. But it's designed to obscure, to hide things. That's the kind of clean that should make you pause.
Right, those are the alarm bells. Which kind of leads perfectly into the next bit from the story, the magic mirror.
The magic mirror on the wall. But in the fairy tale, the queen isn't looking for truth.
No, she wants validation, confirmation of what she already thinks.
Right. But AML is the complete opposite. It demands truth, unbiased truth.
So you need tools for that truth-seeking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the source points them out clearly. First up, robust client due diligence, CDD. That's your foundation.
Okay, what else?
Then you've got open source intelligence, basically checking public records, news, sanctions lists, what's out there.
Stuff you can find yourself.
Yeah. And crucially, independent verification. Don't just take their word for it. Check it. Cross-reference it.
So the AML mirror isn't supposed to just reflect what you hope to see.
No way. It has to show what's really there, which means asking some tough questions. Like, who really owns this? Who's the ultimate beneficial owner? You got to peel back the layers.
Okay, find the actual person.
And where did this money actually come from? What's the real source of funds?
Not just the last bank account it was in.
Exactly. And maybe the biggest one. Does the story make sense? Is it plausible or just a bit too good to be true?
It's way more than just compliance paperwork then.
Oh, totally. It's about protecting your firm's reputation, avoiding huge legal trouble, keeping the system clean, really.
So for you listening, think about that. How deep do you actually need to dig? It's more than just checking an ID, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like detective work sometimes. You need to understand the whole picture, the client's world, not just accept the first piece of paper.
Where do firms often slip up there?
The common trap is stopping too soon. Taking the client's info at face value without checking it independently. Or not really questioning the purpose of a transaction. Like, the paperwork's okay. Why are they doing this deal? Does it actually make business sense?
That's the real mirror test.
That's it.
Which brings us nicely to actually testing things. How do you tell the good apples from the bad?
The apple test, as the source calls it. Is it suspicious or sweet?
In the story, the apple was a gift, right? Looked harmless.
Yeah, a seemingly kind gesture. But the motive was sinister.
And dirty money often comes disguised like that, too.
Very often. It might look like a normal investment. or maybe a big donation to charity.
Oh, okay.
Or sometimes, a sudden inheritance from a relative overseas you've never heard of.
Ah, the long-lost rich uncle routine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Classic sweet disguise. Makes dirty money look respectable.
So just like Snow White should have asked, hey, where'd this apple come from?
Professionals need to ask similar questions about transactions. Like, does this fit? Is it consistent with what we know about this client and their business?
Does it match their usual activity?
Right. And can we trace the money? Is there a clear audit trail showing where it came from and where it's going?
And crucially,
Are we just trusting what they say? Are we relying on assurances without doing our own digging?
so if there's any doubt, what's the advice?
The blog post is really clear. If you have doubt, don't take a bite. Stop. Document why you're unsure.
Write it down.
Yes. Then challenge it. Ask more questions. And escalate it. Tell your MLRO, your compliance lead.
Don't just ignore that nagging feeling.
Absolutely not. Acting on suspicion is vital. It's how you stop the bad stuff getting through.
But I guess in the real world, it must be hard sometimes to say no to a big deal or client. There's pressure, right?
Oh, huge pressure. Sometimes it's about hitting targets, or maybe fear of upsetting a major client, or maybe just not being sure enough that something's wrong.
Or maybe the potential fee looks really good.
That too. Could cloud judgment,
Yeah.
Which is why having strong internal defenses, your own guardians, is so critical.
Well, guardians, like the Seven Dwarfs.
Exactly. That's the next part of the analogy.
Yeah.
In the story, they were Snow White's protectors. If they'd been there.
Maybe no poisoned apple incident.
Right. And in AML, your dwarfs are your internal safeguards. They protect the firm.
Okay, so what are these 7 safeguards?
Well, first, policies, controls, and procedures, PCPs. That's your rule book, your AML constitution.
Got it.
Second, ongoing monitoring. You can't just check once. Risks change, clients change. Keep watching.
Makes sense. Third,
Training and awareness. Everyone needs to know the risks and what they need to do, not just the compliance team.
Correct.
Fourth, independent audit. Someone needs to check that your rules and procedures are actually working effectively.
like quality control.
Sort of, yeah. Fifth, clear roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Who does what? Who's accountable?
No confusion.
Exactly. Sixth, escalation pathways. If someone does spot something, they need a clear, safe way to report it upwards.
Knowing who to tell.
Crucial. And finally, seventh, senior management oversight. Leadership has to be involved, committed, setting the tone from the top.
So all 7 are important.
Vitally important. The source warns that neglecting even one leaves the firm unguarded.
And even an innocent-looking transaction could be fatal.
Right. It's about the whole system working together. A policy is useless if staff aren't trained, or if they can't escalate concerns, they all link up.
That interconnectedness is key. Which brings us to a kind of recap, doesn't it? Don't bite without checking.
Yeah, back to Snow White's mistake. Don't accept money, clients, gifts, whatever, without doing your homework. Proper due diligence.
She didn't check the apple's source.
And firms that don't check risk swallowing something toxic. Not poison, but risk, liability, regulatory fines.
Serious consequences.
Really serious. It hits at the bottom line, sure, but also trust, reputation, that's harder to fix.
So let's nail down those key lessons again for firms. What are the absolute must-dos?
Okay, first, always do proper client due diligence, CDD. And if it's a higher risk situation, you need enhanced due diligence, EDD, no shortcuts.
That's foundational. What's second?
Document your reasoning, especially if you accept something unusual, like a strange transaction or a big gift. Write down why you decided it was okay.
Your paper trail.
Exactly. Third, check the source of funds and source of wealth. Where did the money really come from? Especially as the source says when things seem unusually sweet.
That sweetness is a warning sign.
It can be. Fourth, if you have any doubt, escalate it. Tell your MLRO or compliance lead. Don't sit on it.
Get advice. Share the concern.
Yes. And fifth, keep those policies, controls, and procedures, the PCPs, up to date. Review them, improve them. They need to evolve as the risks evolve.
It's an ongoing job, not a one-off task.
Definitely.
So thinking about the fairy tale ending, Snow White gets woken by a magic kiss.
Right.
But in AML, there's no magic fix if you mess up, is there? No magic kiss for non-compliance.
Sadly not. The real protection, the real happy ending, if you like, comes from solid foundations, good governance, strong procedures that are actually followed, and people making smart, informed decisions.
That's the real antidote.
That's it, not magic.
So the final message here, the call to vigilance, is really about remembering those checks.
Yeah. Check the transaction itself. Check the hand offering it, know your client and the source, and check why it's being offered. Understand the purpose.
Those 3 checks can save a lot of trouble.
They really can protect the firm's integrity.
So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with, building on that source material?
Okay, well, in today's world, the wicked queen probably isn't wearing a cloak, right? And dirty money definitely doesn't come with a warning label.
It looks like everything else.
Exactly. So the question for you is, what poisoned apple might you encounter, maybe unknowingly, in your work or even daily life?
Yeah.
And how will you make sure you trace its root before you will take that bite?